In Lugazi, Buikwe district, there lived a man called Muvawala. He was very energetic and hardworking, but hardly showed what he earned due to low pay and accumulating bills such as rent, water, and electricity. However, this did not stop him from working hard and dreaming of one day owning a business and a house so that he could no longer be a person who is employed. In the due process, he got married, and after months, his wife got pregnant and gave birth to a baby boy. During this time, with increased responsibilities as a family man, yet his earnings had not increased, it became a huge weight on his shoulders to carry. So he started looking for alternatives on how to increase his earnings so that he could fully support his family. He sought advice from friends, but all yielded nothing. Yet he was very desperate to get rich until someone advised him to visit a witch doctor who would grant him spiritual riches, ensuring that everything he laid his hands on would be successful. The next morning, he dressed up and moved to the witch doctor. He was directed to in Kayunga district. After talking to the witch doctor, he was told that if he wanted to be granted the witch powers of riches, he had to do the unthinkable, sacrifice his only son, and offer him to the spirits gods to grant him spiritual riches on whatever he laid hands on. This made him hesitant, but since he was so desperate, he agreed to do what he was being told, feeling that he would give birth to another child when he was well off. So he hired 2 strangers to kidnap his only son, so that he could sacrifice him without any trace that he was involved. After the 2 strangers kidnapped his son, Mr. Muvawala reported to the police that his child was missing. This was done to divert the police investigation away from him. He proceeded with the act of sacrificing his only son, and after days of searching, the body of his son was found at the shores of Lake Victoria, without the head. Mr. Muvawala pretended to be in agony, and the police offered a reward of 10 million to whoever knew any person who may have killed and slaughtered Muvawala's son. Burial was done, and people were all in shock at the heartlessness involved. After months, Mr. Muvawala became successful and richer. However, every night he could not sleep because his deceased son would always appear to him, telling him to wake up and go to work because that's what he wanted. This haunted him for 2 years to the extent that his wife thought he had gone mad because she was unable to see the person her husband was always talking to every night. All she thought was that her husband was still traumatized by the death of their son, until she decided to take him to Butabika Rehabilitation Hospital. Still, his son would appear to him there, and he could hardly get any sleep. After 2 days at the hospital, Mr. Muvawala was released, and he decided to go back to the witch doctor, who told him to sacrifice his son to let him know what he was going through. To his shock, he found that the witch doctor had already died a couple of months back under mysterious circumstances, with stretch marks on his neck, as if someone had strangled him. Upon returning home, Mr. Muvawala was still haunted by his deceased son, until he reached a point of confessing to his wife about how he killed their own son, the strangers who helped him kidnap their son, and the entire process starting from the witch doctor. His wife could not believe that all the wealth they had was a result of the sacrifice of her son. She took the information to the police, who apprehended Mr. Muvawala. He confessed again to the entire public, which angered many. They couldn't fathom how a man could sacrifice his son for material wealth in return. Many learned from this scenario. Mr. Muvawala was charged with murder, along with the 2 strangers who kidnapped his son, and they were all sentenced to 90 years in prison.